This is the most disgusting press conference I have ever seen put on by attorneys. Now, you guys heard about this case. It made national news. Rodney Hinton jumped out of a stolen vehicle, was running around with a pistol in his hand, and was put down by police officers. The family of that 18-year-old held a press conference, and it was absolutely horrible. I'm going to break this down from an attorney's perspective who's practiced over 20 years. Let's get into it.
Thank you for coming out. My name is Michael Wright, Attorney Michael Wright. I'm going to introduce Attorney Fanon Rucker, Attorney Robert Gresham, Attorney Anthony Pearson. I'm going to introduce...
Stop it right there. This attorney needs to be fired. Did you catch it? If I was part of this family, I would tell all of these attorneys to get out of my house. Did you see what just happened? I'm going to rewind it and let's see if you can pick up on what I spotted.
Thank you for coming out. My name is Michael Wright, Attorney Michael Wright. I'm going to introduce Attorney Fanon Rucker, Attorney Robert Gresham, Attorney Anthony Pearson. I'm going to introduce Mom, who is...
Look at him. What is this gentleman holding in his hand? It's a cheat sheet, guys. This attorney is in this nationally televised press conference, says he's going to introduce the mother of the slain teenager, and then has to look down at a piece of paper to remember her name. How would you feel if your child was killed and you hired a law firm to represent you? You want to file a wrongful death claim, but at the same time, that's your child. This is the most important case in your life, and you're telling me that you hired a law firm that can't even remember your name? Listen to me when I tell you that this is a big case. These cases typically work on contingencies. This law firm is going to try to reach a quick settlement, and if they can't, they're going to file suit. The way we attorneys typically handle these situations is that we'll take a third of the compensation that you receive if we can settle the case before we have to file suit. If we have to file the complaint, then it goes up to 40%. So let's say this family is going to try to get $10 million. Now, they're not going to win, but let's say that they do. Let's say they get $10 million. This law firm is going to charge 40%. That's $4 million. You're telling me that you got $4 million from my son's death and you can't even remember my name. Just look at the man. He says he wants to introduce the mother, and then he immediately looks down to his cheat sheet. I want to introduce to you the mother. The mother that she's standing right here. She really loves Jamila. I want to introduce Jamila. Can you imagine? You want millions of dollars off the back of my son's death and you can't even remember my name and I'm the mother. Great attorneys pay attention to detail, and that's why I caught this. You may think it's a small thing, but if your attorney can't even remember your name, how do you think this attorney's going to do in trial?
I'm going to introduce Attorney Fanon Rucker, Attorney Robert Gresham, Attorney Anthony Pearson. I'm going to introduce Mom, who is Tori Jackson, Grandma, which is Tanya Larkin, and Dad, which is Rodney Hinton Jr. Grandfather.
What? I know this attorney didn't just say that that man was the father. Does anybody know what's wrong with this? Does anybody know the facts of this case? Why is it clear to anyone who knows anything about this situation that that man is not the father? This is the father of the boy. In fact, this man is the reason why this case has made national news. If we're going to be honest, it's not a big shocker that someone jumps out of a stolen vehicle, is running with a pistol, and gets shot. If I tell you that, you're going to be like, oh, well, okay. But what if I tell you that that teenager's father finds out, gets in a vehicle, and then goes and assassinates a random police officer, someone who didn't have anything to do with this man's son's death? You're gonna say that's outrageous. This man, the father, is the entire reason why this story has blown up nationwide. And now you're telling me that this attorney thinks that the father is standing right there next to him? The father is in a detention center in Ohio on no bond status for capital murder. And the attorney's all, oh, well, here's the father right here. This is ridiculous. We just started the press conference and it's already off the rails. The lead attorney on this case, not me, him, he doesn't know the name of the mother and he doesn't know who the father is of this boy that he represents. You can tell immediately that this is all about the money. There is no connection between this law firm and this family. When there's a connection, you don't need a cheat sheet. Let me show you what a real connection looks like. This gentleman's name is Bruce Harvey. He practices here in Atlanta. He is one of our state's best criminal defense attorneys. case. He represented a young man in the Young Thug trial. Bruce fought that case with everything that he had and got that man an amazing result. Now let's listen to how Bruce speaks about his client.
You know, you can see his intellectual curiosity. He's a really good kid and a smart kid. And I want him, truly.
It's true. I mean, we've spent.
That is a connection. When you actually care about the client or care about the case and you're emotionally connected and you get choked up, that's how you know that you're giving it everything that you got. But this attorney here doesn't even take the time to learn the mother's name, doesn't even know who the father is. This is an absolute disgrace. But let's keep going.
We represent the estate of Ryan. We're not here to talk about the incident that occurred with the police officer. We do offer our condolences to the officer and his family, but we were hired to represent this family to investigate the police-involved shooting of their son, Ryan.
Jesus.
This family is very upset about what occurred. Kind of walking you through what happened is on Friday morning, we met with the police chief of Cincinnati, and we viewed the body cam video of what happened with the police-involved shooting with Ryan. We stayed at the chief's office for about an hour and a half, and what we saw was disturbing. The family was upset, as you can imagine, watching your son, watching your grandson, watching your loved one getting shot and killed by the police was upsetting to this family. We left out of the police chief's office, and a few hours later, I was made aware that Rodney had an incident with a police officer that resulted in the officer's death.
Did you hear that? Now let's acknowledge this attorney says, yeah, condolences to the family of the fallen officer, but you always got to listen for that but we are here to investigate what this police officer did to young Ryan. We want facts. But then when it's time to talk about what happened, now it's very generalized. Now it's, oh, well, something happened between Rodney, the father, and this deputy, but something happened. Now there are no facts. There's no discussion. There's no details. But this attorney knows exactly what happened. This attorney knows that Rodney showed up to that police station and watched the tape. This attorney knows that Rodney was acting erratic for over 2 hours in the parking lot. This attorney knows that Rodney got into a vehicle, saw Deputy Henderson, and mowed him down. This deputy didn't have anything to do with Rodney's son's death. And I'll just mention this because it's so horrible, but Rodney killed Deputy Henderson, who was a white officer, at the intersection of Martin Luther King Drive. You guys remember Martin Luther King, the man who said that he wanted his people to be judged by the content of their character. This attorney knows all of these facts, but he just said, oh, well, there was an incident with the father.
And a few hours later, I was made aware that Rodney had an incident with a police officer that resulted in the officer's death. But again, we are here because we represent the estate and the police-involved shooting. We're trying to get the family some answers as it relates to what happened with that shooting. We're not here at this point to make any specific allegations, to make any specific determinations as it relates to that police-involved shooting. We are here and were retained to investigate that shooting.
He just needs to come out and say it. Listen, I know a lot of stuff happened, but we are here about the money. We represent the estate. We want money. We're going to file a lawsuit. We need to get paid.
We'll take any questions.
How will that proceed? What will that look like? Will you be reviewing the body camera footage frame by frame, or talking about the process?
Absolutely. We only saw one angle. We only saw, I believe it was the shooter's body cam. So we requested the records, we requested all the other body cams, we requested the reports, we did the ordinary public records request so that we can really analyze what occurred.
This attorney, who can't remember any of his clients' names, says he wants to analyze all the footage frame by frame. He says he wants a full and complete investigation. And that's fine. That's good. Let's just hope that there is a similar full and complete investigation as to what happened between Deputy Henderson being killed by Rodney. Let's hope that there is a full and fair jury trial and that jury comes back with the right verdict.
We requested the records, we requested all the other body cams, we requested the reports, we did the ordinary public records request so that we can really analyze what occurred. I mean, what we saw in the video, it's hard to determine whether or not that officer was in imminent danger or should have thought that they were in imminent danger before they took shots.
This is absolutely ridiculous. If you're a police officer and you see a young man jump out of a stolen vehicle and he's running in between dumpsters and he has a weapon in his hand, a firearm, are you not going to think that your life is in imminent danger? Are you not going to think that your situation is a life or death circumstance? Imagine how fast someone who has a weapon who is running can turn around and point that thing right at you. You have a wife, you have kids, you have a family, you want to make it home safely. But 15 feet away from you, there is a young man ducking in between trash cans with a weapon, pumping his arms, lifting it up and down. You are absolutely entitled to protect your life, protect your safety from that imminent threat. This attorney is losing all types of credibility.
So we are specifically investigating, that part of this entire tragic situation.
Mr. Wright, to the person who says Ryan was in a stolen car, had a firearm, according to detectives, and this is what happened, what do you say to that person?
That's correct, but being in a stolen car, having a firearm, firearms, we're in Ohio, so you can open carry in Ohio. So that's not a death penalty.
This attorney says Ohio has open carry laws. He says you can be in a car with a pistol and it's fine. That's not a death penalty case. This is what we call a red herring. This attorney is exactly right. You can be in a car with your weapon and that's fine. But that's not what happened in this case. This attorney knows good and well that there is no open carry law in the nation that will protect someone who is brandishing a firearm, fleeing from law enforcement during a felony. Why is this attorney talking all this craziness? Who are these people? And what's clear is that these attorneys are just in it for the money. They don't even know the family members' names.
The only thing we've heard so far about Ryan has been from police. Would a member of the family want to step forward and tell us a little bit about him?
Yeah, of course. This is his mother, this is his grandmother, his brother, his father, his grandfather.
He did it again. One of the reporters is like, hey, we're hearing from you. Does any of the family members want to say anything? And this attorney says, yeah, here's the mother, the grandmother, and here's the father. How does this attorney not know who the father is? Did you hear that? Let's play it again.
This is his mother, this is his grandmother, his brother, his father.
I am absolutely done with this attorney. This firm needs to be fired on the spot. They don't care anything about this family. All right, let's see what the grandfather has to say about all this.
Yeah, I'm Rodney Hinton Sr. I want to give a condolence out to the officers that got killed, my whole family. I'm asking for forgiveness, and I've been praying hard for the officer that killed my grandson.
Yes.
I've been praying hard for him and his family because I know he's hurting off this. As I seen in the video about my grandson, I seen two scared people. I seen the officer scared, and I seen my grandson scared.
Yes, and now listen, I really like where this grandfather is coming from. He says he asked for prayers for Deputy Henderson's family, for his loved ones. That's amazing. This grandfather knows that Deputy Henderson didn't have anything to do with his son's death. But did you also hear what he said? And I'll tell you, as an attorney, you have to have a good ear. He really just shot his own case in the foot. What did he say? Did you catch it? First of all, what did his attorney just say? His attorney just said, listen, all of this is going to depend on whether or not the officer felt that he was in imminent danger, that his safety was in imminent peril. Now, what did the father just say? Let's take a listen.
As I seen in the video about my grandson, I seen two scared people. I seen the officer scared, and I seen my grandson scared.
What did he just say? He said he saw that officer scared. What was he scared of? He was scared of getting shot. All right. His grandson was scared. That's fine. He's young. He's got a pistol in his hand. He's running from the cops. Fine. But this grandfather just admitted on a national press conference that the officer himself was scared. That is a super damaging statement to their wrongful death claim. I know when his attorneys heard that statement, they were not happy at all. Just look at him. Look at his facial expression when he just heard the grandfather say that. Look at his face. And this goes to show you again that these attorneys are ill prepared. Whenever you know that you have a press conference and you know that the family is going to speak, you prepare them. You bring them into the office on a Saturday and you say, hey, listen, we're going to do a mock press conference. You say, here's a microphone. All right. What are you going to say into the microphone? And you have them give their whole spiel and you listen for statements like this, which can be devastating to your claim. And after they give their spiel, you say, okay, listen, this was good. This was not so good. Say this like you said it. Do not say that. Now do it again. And then they do it again. And you say, okay, a little better. Do it again. You prepare them. Obviously, this gentleman was not prepared at all by these attorneys. And he makes a statement admitting that the officer was in fear of his life. And now look at his attorney's face. Look at the attorney on the right. Like, man, I can't believe you said that. Well, attorney, I cannot believe that you didn't prepare these family members for this press conference that you organized. You called all these media outlets here. You got all the cameras, all the microphones, all the lights, and you have not prepared this family and they're killing their own case. This is the worst press conference I've seen in my life. The attorney doesn't even know who the family members are. Of course he hadn't prepared them. And now they're speaking in front of the microphones and making statements that will absolutely be used against them.
As I seen in the video about my grandson, I seen two scared people. I seen the officer scared, and I seen my grandson scared. So it's an unfortunate incident that happened. So that's all I seen. It was like, I didn't see the police there trying to kill. No. What I seen was two persons made a mistake. My grandson made a mistake being there, and the officer, he was trying to get back to his family too. So that's what I seen.
Well, listen now, I really like where this grandfather's coming from, but I'll tell you, he says he saw two people who made a mistake that day. He says his grandson made a mistake, and then he says, the officer was trying to get home to his family. Now, this grandfather, I'm going to be honest, I'm going to give him a lot of leeway because I see where he's coming from and I see his heart's in the right place. If an officer wants to get home to his family and you see that he is in fear for his life and he's 10, 15 feet away from a man running from a stolen car with a gun in his hand, I don't think you can call that a mistake if the officer protects himself, protects his safety, protects his other officers there on the scene. Certainly the 18-year-old made a number of mistakes, but this officer, in my point of view, didn't make any. But again, I don't want to nitpick what this grandfather is saying. I see his heart's in the right place.
So it's not about revenge or anything. I have nothing against nobody. My Lord and Savior is Jesus Christ, and I represent him. So,
yes.
With that said, please, everybody, just try to forgive everybody who done anything to anybody.
Mr. Hinton, for you, this is a fact-finding mission more than anything to make sure you understand.
Yeah, it's a peace thing for me, for everything, for everybody to heal off this. I want everybody to heal off this. It was just like a mistake. I really feel bad for the officer who was shooting because I can see the scariness in him too. People can't see it because I'm going spiritual with this now. So I was able to see that God had allowed me to see this part of the accident.
And again, he's saying accident, and this is not an accident. And he just reiterated that this officer was scared. This officer was fearful. This grandfather is speaking from the heart, but it is obvious that these attorneys have not prepared him for this press conference. He's killing his own case.
Just like my son made an accident too. So he made an accident.
All right, and we're not going to press the grandfather, but, the officer here made no accident. His grandson, I don't even know if that's an accident. His grandson in a stolen car fleeing with a pistol in his hand. I see a lot of things going on purpose. I don't really see a lot of accidents there, but let's go.
Just, just trying to just move on now. That's all I'm trying to do on. And I'm praying for the officer and their family.
Yes.
How hard has this been for your entire family from Thursday into Friday with all of this plan? It's a lot.
It's been hard on my side of it. I know it's been hard on Tori, because me and Tori, you know, me and her is so tight. We usually we born on the same day. So God, it's crucial how me and her have end up to explain this now. We born on the same day, but different years. You know what I'm saying? So all this was building up to this point. But I was trying to I have to bring the peace to this. There's no violence in this, no revenge.
You're aware there's social media chatter that people in the community might feel a different way?
I don't. Yeah, I don't.
We haven't been on it at
I
all.
don't. I'm being no social media. I don't do no Facebook, nothing. I just rely on the power of God. That's it.
It seems like there's some tensions, though, based on some of those posts. Do you have like a calming message for those who are concerned over the shooting?
Long live Ryan. Long live Ryan.
I want to say out to the media.
All right, here come Grandma. All right, let's see what she has to say.
My name is Tanya Larkin. I am Ryan's grandmother.
Long live Ryan.
Ryan was a sweet, gentle giant.
All right. We already know how we're starting off. Ryan was a sweet, gentle giant. Now, Ryan was in a stolen car with a weapon in his hand, fleeing the police. Was he a sweet, gentle giant? The answer, of course, is no. But here's the thing. When mothers and grandmothers testify in court, we attorneys, we judges, we typically just let them have it. So many times a grandmother like this will have to show up to court and testify about her grandbaby. And the grandbaby's on trial for murder, and they got him dead to rights. And they got video, and they got audio, and they got fingerprints, they got everything. But what is grandma with that cane? She walks slowly up there to that witness stand and raises her hand to swear the truth and sits down and immediately says that my grandbaby would never do anything like this. They got the man on video, but that doesn't mean anything to grandma. And you know what we attorneys say? You know what these judges say? Really don't say anything. At the end of the day, it's grandma. She wasn't there at the scene. She doesn't have anything to do with what happened. We need to acknowledge that she's elderly. You know, she's not a spring chicken anymore. She's kind of on the back half of her life, and she's grieving. Maybe her grandson is facing incarceration for life and she's gonna lose him. Or maybe her grandson has been killed by the police officers. She's mourning and she has a narrative in her head. You know what we do? We let her keep it. Just keep the narrative, keep your defense mechanism. We're not gonna try to beat you down. We're not going to try to show you that you're wrong. We're not going to try to show you the DNA, the forensics. That's not your grandbaby. Okay, we're going to let you think that way. We're going to let you testify, and then we're going to let you go on out about your business. There's no sense in trying to cross-examine a mother or a grandmother who wasn't there, doesn't have anything to do with what happened. They will not change their opinion. You just let them have it.
That played with everybody all the time. You see all the younger ones? That was a PlayStation buddy. He made it a point to make sure that he played with each and every last one of them whenever he was around them. He included them in the game process. He taught each one of them how to play the game. We are very close family. This is killing us. I can't even express how I feel right now about, I'm angry because it shouldn't have never happened.
That's true. Your grandson should never have been in that car with that pistol.
I want to find out exactly what steps was taken and the protocol. And if everything comes out that it's not what it should have been, we need to do something about change and training and diversity and understanding.
Diversity. Okay, all right, girl. Listen, we're going to let her have it. Come on.
Us as a black culture, we as black people, we don't deserve to be killed just because we're running away from the police. We're scared just as much as they are, whether we did something right or wrong. This is everyday life for us, being scared of the police. Take that in consideration while everybody is making comments on the parent should have did this and the parent should have did that.
Okay, come on.
See, that's how you do it. You let her have it, and then you just You escort him down. All right. That's exactly what should be done. All right. Let's jump to another attorney at the firm representing this family. Hopefully he can be a little bit more intelligent. Obviously, he himself has not taken the time to prepare this family either, but let's hope that at least he knows these family members' names.
What we're talking about, what we're doing as the Cochran firm is about process.
All right, so he says they're part of the Cochran firm. Y'all know Johnny Cochran. If it doesn't fit, you must acquit. I think that Johnny was out there in California, but his firm now has exploded. There are so many offices around this nation. I think here in Atlanta, there are 3 offices alone. So it is a huge firm nationwide, and I guess they are part of, they have an office there in Cincinnati. And so this family has hired the Cochran firm. And I think, you know, shout out to Johnny Cochran. I think we could see a little difference in the abilities of Johnny Cochran versus these attorneys. You know, I doubt very seriously that Johnny Cochran would forget the names of his clients. But let's go. Shout out to Johnny Cochran.
We're all here because of an incident. And certainly some people say, well, you know, he was doing bad stuff. Even assuming the truth of that, there's procedures and there are policies that require those who hold life and death in their hands to move in particular ways. Our objection is the question of whether or not those policies and procedures were followed, which led to the unfortunate and tragic death of an 18-year-old. We can argue all day about all of the society problems that lead people to places where they shouldn't be. But that's not our question, nor are we trying to answer that by this process. We are answering or looking for the answer through our investigation of whether or not it was proper, whether or not the policies were followed appropriately, and whether or not by law and by facts that tragic death was considered in the eyes of the law as justifiable. I can promise you, under no circumstance are the family members who were here will ever believe that it was justifiable.
What?
Trust me on that.
Did he just say that there are no set of facts under which this family would think that the shooting was justified? Hold on, let me rewind that real quick.
I can promise you, under no circumstance are the family members who were here will ever believe that it was justifiable. Trust me on that.
I can't believe this attorney just said that. It is outrageous. So you're telling me that regardless of what you guys find in the frame-by-frame investigation, regardless of what you receive from your Freedom of Information Act requests, regardless of what's in all of the police officers' reports, regardless of all of the camera footage that is obtained from the officers' body cams, regardless of all of the physical evidence that's collected at the scene, regardless of all of the forensic reports and analysis, regardless of any evidence that you guys get, you will always think that the shooting was unjustified? You're gonna think that no matter what the evidence shows? This attorney basically just called this entire family unreasonable and biased. If it doesn't matter what the evidence shows, then why are you even investigating all of this? Why are you spending all this time, this effort, this resources, if it doesn't matter what the conclusions are obtained from the evidence? Why are you even going through all this process? What are you trying to get? Oh, that's right. You're trying to get the money.
You don't have to answer that question.
I'll answer the question. You want answers?
I think I'm entitled.
You want answers?
I want the truth.